Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now I'm very sorry that I haven't uploaded in a week. It's been Christmas, the Christmas period, so Merry Christmas to everybody. I don't know whether this is going to go out on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, but it will be out on one of them days. So I haven't forgotten about YouTube. I've just been in at work at 4 AM, so I've been so busy, but I'm back now. I will be able to upload regularly again. I'll be back doing FIFA videos soon. But I have done a video back in July, which I wanted to react to now, where I basically made some preseason predictions as to where... some of it was where teams would finish. It was other stuff as well. And I wanted to react to it because I'm intrigued to see how many of them I got right. Probably not many, but we're going to react to it now, and I'm going to see how many of them I got right. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am so awkward in this video as well. Predictions for the 2019-2020 football season. I decided, why not? You know, it's pre-season's about to begin. So why, when's there a better time to make early predictions? I don't know. Obviously, anything can happen between now and the beginning of the season, so any club can sign just about anybody, realistically. Yeah, I did get that right. Just about anything could happen, and just about anything has happened so far this season. Can change, but these are my predictions for the season. I've kind of gone into the conference as well, but it's mostly going to be Premier League and Football League. My old intro, which I'm going to have to edit out. I'm going to have to turn sound down for. At number 10. I've listed more fit and proper failures. Oh boy, was I right. Yeah, this one, I was very right with this one. So, with this one, I was predicting teams would fail. I was predicting teams would struggle financially. I wasn't predicting a club to be expelled from the Football League. I thought Bury's situation was starting up at that point. I wasn't expecting that to be an ongoing situation to the point where they literally don't even play Football League football anymore. So very sorry to all you Bury fans, but stick by your club. You will be back one day. Other failures, Bolton miserably failed financial fair play. It looks like they'll be playing League 2 football next season, which is a shame, but it does give me an opportunity to do a full road to glory. Bolton Wanderers, getting them back into the Premier League on FIFA 21. Can't remember when they've introduced it. But so many clubs have been influenced by it. One of my teams, Notts County, are currently 3 days away from... We managed to survive that. So we went from... We were a matter of hours, but luckily we kept getting an extension. And in the end, a Danish consortium took over, and we're now mid-table in the Football League. Mid-table in the Football League. I mean, I've predicted that one right, but that one was fairly obvious, to be fair. Coventry are getting screwed over right now. Portsmouth did. Oh, that's another one. Coventry have had to play their games in Birmingham this season, I think. So, how that's been allowed to happen by the Football League, I have no idea. So, number 9. I needed to shave just as much back then. Is that Solihull Moors will be promoted to the Football League. This one, looking at the table, they're 5th at the moment in the National League, so they could well do it. Probably be through the playoffs now. It looks like they're 7 points behind Barrow. A good second half to the season, and you never know. I wasn't far off with that one. I mean, it's looking possible anyway. I was rooting for them in the playoffs. Them all filed. Filed now. Are really struggling. They've done all right though. To be fair, last 5 games. 1-1, lost, drew. So they're picking up a little bit. But they ended up having to change their manager in order to do that. So 8, I've said Plymouth, Mansfield and Cambridge. Right, okay, so this one, I could not have been much further off from what actually I predicted. So, I predicted that Plymouth, who are 9th, Mansfield, who are 17th, and Cambridge, who are 11th, would win the league. would get promoted even. They'd be finish the top 3. I don't think I could have been any further off. The only thing that I could have been further off with is if I predicted Stevenage, Morecambe and Macclesfield. That's literally it. Like that. I got that one completely wrong. I should point out that the teams who are actually in the top 3 are Swindon, Exeter and Crewe. Crewe I'm very surprised by. Swindon and Exeter are usually the top teams, are usually right up there. Cheltenham's up there as well. And I'm a bit surprised by that, but Cheltenham usually struggle a little bit. And Crewe, Crewe are usually a mid-table side. So, yeah, anything can happen, I suppose. My other prediction is Salford City to reach the playoffs. They are... So, I also predicted Salford would reach the playoffs. And, I mean, they've got a really outside chance. They're only 9 points behind, so they could do it. Although Colchester and Plymouth could actually sneak into the playoffs. So actually, Plymouth, I might not be that far away, because Plymouth actually have a game in hand on 3rd place as well. Going back to my last prediction, and they're only 6 points behind. So if they win that game in hand, they go on to 35 points, 3 points behind Crewe. So actually, Plymouth might not be that far off the top 3. They just look a lot worse than they actually are because they've got a game in hand. I would rather have the points on the board than the game in hand, but yeah, they've still got that extra game to play. But Salford to reach the playoffs, no, that was... I would put that down as an unlikely. By Gary Neville and the rest of the class of 92, they're going to be on Sky so much. We're going to see so much. That was another prediction I got wrong as well. We haven't actually seen that much Salford City. We saw their first match, we saw their League Cup match against Leeds, and other than that, I don't think they've been on. More of Salford City than we saw of Norwich towards the end of last season. I can guarantee that one. That should have been my prediction. I probably shouldn't have guaranteed that. But are not... I don't think they're good enough to win the league or to reach that top 3. I mean, I was right about that. So I think they'll probably miss out in the playoffs. I don't know. They won't even reach the playoffs at this point. Up there, promoted. They're 14th. They'll be in that 4th to 7th spot. They're not. So League One, I made the predictions that Portsmouth and Sunderland will be top 2 with Rotherham and Lincoln in the playoffs. I have the league table up here, so that's how I'm looking it up. Okay, so Portsmouth and Sunderland promoted. Portsmouth are 10th. Sunderland are 13th. Rotherham, who I said would be in the playoffs, are 8th. They're only a point outside the playoffs, though, so maybe. And Lincoln are down in 16th. So, as of the halfway stage of the season, I've got that one completely wrong. They're all not really doing much. I predicted 8th, 10th, 13th, and 16th. Maybe I shouldn't get into football punditry, because I could not have been much more wrong on any of these. I've made this prediction because I think Portsmouth and Sunderland will both be better than they were last year. Nope. And obviously both were in the playoffs. Rotherham, I think, will be in a position... That's about the only thing I got right in this prediction. I should have predicted that League One would finish with 23 teams. Then that way everybody would be like, no, that's not going to happen. And then I could have sat here being like, told you. But no. Then Lincoln, I just think the progress under the Cowley brothers has been just incredible. See, and this is the thing with Lincoln. They were looking like being... in fact, I think they were first at one point. They were looking like a very good side right at the very beginning of the season. But then the Cowleys went to Huddersfield, and suddenly Lincoln were losing games like 6-0, and they were just getting battered, and they've dropped all the way down now, all the way down to 16th. And they're only 7 points off relegation, and they've free-fallen basically, so... You never know, they could be in trouble, at which point I've predicted them to be in the playoffs, and then they get relegated. My other prediction for League One is Ipswich to be mid-table, and I put this in. I mean, right now it's looking like I'm wrong, but then I will show you guys the form that that Ipswich are in. So this is the table right now, this is the League One table. Now, you look at the position-wise, I've got it completely wrong. However, look at the form of Ipswich. That is not promotion contender form. That is relegation contender form. They started off well, but he just doesn't have it in him to keep it up anymore. Under Norwich, it was fine. He could literally just set up the same players pretty much week in, week out. This is Paul Lambert I'm talking about. When he was manager of Norwich, we had Grant Holt, we had Wes Hoolahan, we had Simeon Jackson. He knew he could just put the players out and they would go out there and they would perform. He relied on Ian Culverhouse and Gary Carter to do all the training, and then he would come in, reap the rewards, and then eventually he was like, oh, I'm too big for Norwich, I'm going to go and move on. And without them, because they didn't follow him, but without them, he's not been able to repeat that success anymore. And it shows. He had a little bit of success at the beginning of the season. You know, they've managed to get 10 wins in 20 games, which, you know, fair play to them. I didn't even think they'd get... You know, I didn't think that they would be going at a rate at any point of a win every other game. But I thought, if anything, they would struggle to adapt at first and then go on to, like, recover it to get mid-table. Instead, what has happened is they've started off well and now they're really starting to peter out. And one thing I absolutely love on match days, and I know I'm a Norwich fan and I know that we're losing every other week as well, but going on Ipswich Twitter after they've lost as a Norwich fan is hilarious. Because for ages they was telling us that they're going to walk the league. I remember seeing people saying, we're going to win the league, 100 points, 100 goals. We're going to walk it. And now this... I mean, they have got a game in hand, in fairness, to play devil's advocate. They have got a game in hand on Peterborough, so they can still go back into second. I don't think they will, because if you look at their form, it looks like they're on course for another loss. At which point, Peterborough will probably win and move up into... and move further ahead of them. And also, it's looking like Bristol Rovers will overtake them as well. And Oxford. And maybe Coventry. And Blackpool. And Rotherham. And maybe even Fleetwood. And Portsmouth. And then before you know it, they're down in 10th. Because, you know, if you're having form like this, you're very quickly going to slide down the table. Unless they manage to fix whatever the issue is, which I know exactly what the issue is. It's Paul Lambert. Unless they're going to fix what the issue is, they are just going to slide down the table. Because once that rot sets in, it's so easy to just keep going with it. But that's going to be it for my Ipswich rant. Not so much a rant, more of like a, you know, just something funny.
To stay up as number 4 and number 3, Charlton to be relegated.
As it stands, I'm right about the Luton one. Luton are staying up by a point. I could also still be right about the Charlton one as well. They're only 6 points clear. I mean, but as it stands, I'm right about one and not the other. I'm right about the Luton one, but not about Charlton. But Charlton could easily be sucked in. But then I don't really see Barnsley, Stoke and Wigan picking up 6-7 more points than Charlton between now and the end of the season. So probably not. I've probably got that one wrong.
They're not as ambitious as...
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry to everybody who had to watch that video. I was so awkward. And I was just really, you know, I get really nervous when I'm on camera some of the time. And sometimes it shows, and other times it doesn't. I'm more used to it now. Since I've been doing FIFA videos, it doesn't really bother me as much. I can pretty much be on camera now, and I'm fine. Back then, sometimes even still, but back then specifically, I was very slow talking. I would have big gaps, and I'd sometimes just leave them in, and I'm very sorry.
You would think, if that makes sense. Like, they let Lee Bowyer go, and then I'm pretty sure they re-signed him. They signed him the next day. But for me...
That was funny. So one day they released Lee Bowyer from his contract as manager. They was like, we don't need you anymore. And the next day they was like, please come back. That was funny, to be fair.
Also sold their best centre-back as well. For a side that's just come up to be...
Who was that? Was that who's the player that they sold? So Patrick Bauer is the player I was on about, I think. I don't know. Charlton fans, was he your best centre-back last season? And would he make a difference this season? Let me know. Okay, number 1, I'm sorry I'm awkward. Number 2, I've just realised that there's a disc sat there the whole time. What the hell? Why did I leave that there?
now I'm saying that, I'm like, did I leave anything out? And my bed is still a bit of a mess today, so I can't really say anything about that. So the second prediction, so my prediction number 2 is Wolves to break into the top 6. We're into the Premier League. Ooh. Wolves to break into the top 6. We finally have one right. Okay, as it stands, Wolverhampton Wanderers are 6th. I didn't particularly expect Sheffield United to be 5th, which I think my next prediction does involve Sheffield United. I'm not sure. But Wolves to be 6th. Boom. Happy with that one. I'm bang on. Top 6. I think, obviously, they've got the help of their super agent, George Mendes. They will be able to sign some quality players. I'm not bitter about that at all. A lot like what Norwich have done with Germany. And they'll be able to break into that top 6. And I think that will be at the expense of... I would say Arsenal, but Arsenal could be signing Wilfried Zaha, so maybe at the expense of Man U. Okay, I predicted Man U. Man U's 8th, so I'm taking that one. I'm taking that one as a win, because right now, Man U's 8th, Wolves 6th, and I said Wolves would break into the top 6 at the expense of Manchester United. Also Tottenham. Let's not forget about Tottenham. Also Sheffield United's in the top 6 at the expense... Sheffield United's 5th at the expense of Tottenham and Man U. I predicted one side would get break in, so we'll take it. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Man U should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I still agree with that things are going to get any better for Man U anytime soon. So for me, I know the Premier League too well. Man U will finish 7th, or maybe even 8th, depending on how Leicester do, because Leicester have signed Ayoze Perez. I also mentioned Leicester too. Wow, okay. So for me, Wolves will finish 6th. Wolves will finish 6th. Man U will finish 7th, or maybe even 8th. Man U may finish 8th. Granted, oh yeah, there's also Arsenal that are outside the top 6 as well. So there's 3 sides taking up the top 6 that we didn't expect at the beginning of the season. Leicester, you could have maybe seen breaking into the top 6, Leicester or Wolves, but you would have expected it to be either or, not both, and then Sheffield United as well. Been a funny season so far. Depending on how Leicester do, because Leicester have signed Ayoze Perez, and I think he will help take win to the next level. Along with my dodgy camera. I think I was using this camera, and this is my vlogging camera, and it tends to go out of focus. So I need a new one, but I am going VidCon, and I will be taking this with me to VidCon. So hopefully, it doesn't decide to play up. So my main prediction is that Brighton, Newcastle, and Sheffield United will be the... Wow, okay. Let's go over this, right. This is the Premier League table right now. So I predicted Brighton in 13th, Newcastle in 9th, Jesus, and Sheffield United in 5th would be relegated. Ooh, I'm going to have to take the L on this one. I am 100% going to have to take the L. I could not have been much more wrong on this one either. Sheffield United haven't brought in any quality. Obviously, they brought in Phil Jagielka, but he's not going to be able to play every week because, he doesn't fit their system, first of all. They play with attacking centre-backs, and Phil Jagielka... That's enough of that. Oh boy, I could not believe it. I mean, I know that they were obviously early predictions. You're never going to get your early predictions right, but to be so far off, let's carry on listening. Let's see just how bad it gets for me, how big of a hole I dig, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. Carry them forward every week for 38 games in the season. He's just not going to do that. Brighton and Newcastle, I just think Brighton are on the decline, and I mean maybe the new manager might be able to get the best out of their players, but under Chris Hughton they were awful last season.
Newcastle, obviously, there's so much unsurety. I don't know if that's the word. With surrounding their ownership, it's just going to unsettle the players. Already, you're seeing players start to leave now that Rafa Benitez has gone. And for me, Brighton and Newcastle for me are the two that I would put the most money on going down. And then it could be any of Sheffield United, it could be Burnley, it could be Bournemouth, it could be anybody just about. It could even be Norwich. And I'm sat here wearing a Zimmerman Appreciation Society shirt, but it's just the way it is in the Premier League. If you don't take your chances, you're going down. And for me, it's not going to be an easy one. It could be one of about 10 teams that take that final spot, but Brighton and Newcastle for me are definite. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Sheffield United. That I will probably end up regretting that, and it'll probably be Norwich instead of Sheffield United. And probably just all my predictions will end up wrong, but I will come back to it and have a look at the end of the season. So, well, it's Christmas Day, and I'm taking a look back through these. So, right, let's start off with Sheffield United there, shall we? What a season they've been having. So, there's one big thing I can point out about Sheffield United, and that is they are, well, two big things. They work hard. They're the workhorses of the Premier League, really. When they came to Carrow Road, one of the things about them was that it wasn't even so much their hard work that got them the 3 points. It was, number one, we had a really bad 6 minutes, which they took advantage of, but also they were very well drilled. Everybody knew the right place to be, and everybody knew their job, and as much as we did, they knew theirs better. And once they took the lead, they knew how to hold on to it, whereas we just don't know how to hold on to a lead at the moment. And we will, we've got our performances there. Obviously, we're sat in 19th. We have our performances there. I'm going to just slide the table across here so that you guys can just soak in the Premier League table. We won't talk about how my prediction for the league title went, because I did that in another video, but also it was bad. I was way off. So with Sheffield United, I didn't think that they would be doing anything special. I thought that they would be one of the teams in the relegation battle, but they will be, as it stands, they will be playing in Europa League next season. That is insane. They have earned that. They have fought hard for that. They have actually very much impressed me. Not only, it's not even like they just play lump it up football. They know how to get their results. They know how to get the results by playing nice football. They're very well drilled, and everybody is right place, right time. And whilst we were the better team than them, or we played well for like maybe 70 minutes, during the spell where they were the better team, they fully took advantage of it. They came out, I think we took our foot off the gas, because in the first half we were very good. We were incredible in that first half. First half against Wolves and first half against Sheffield United was two of the best halves of football I've seen from Norwich. And then second half we just take our foot off the gas, and we go and let a goal lead slip to 2-1 both times. Admittedly, Wolves wasn't helped by the fact, what was it that happened? The referee had to have a break because his wire was off or something. Norwich just can't do with breaks. But so then Newcastle, I was expecting more. It's not that I didn't think that they had the quality of player. It's more I thought that their off the field stuff would have more of an impact. I thought that mentally, when you're going into a season and you have your fans booing your manager and your players, and the fans are booing the owner, I thought that would have more of a psychological impact. Brighton, I just thought, were awful last season, and I didn't think that Graham Potter had it in him to turn it round, so I was like, no, there's not a chance. And as it turns out, they've done all right. They're currently sat 5 points clear of Aston Villa, 8 points clear of Norwich, so, I'm not really in a position to be able to say anything about that. I'm very surprised. I am surprised by how Norwich have done, but then when you look at the injury issues we came up against the teams that you look at that we need to have been beaten. Most of those teams we have played without a full defence. So I get why we are where we are, but then at the same time, when you go in and beat Manchester City, you can't then go and lose to Watford.
But then Manchester United drew with Man City, drew with Liverpool, and then lost to Watford as well. So, I don't know. I have a theory about that. I think Manchester United did that on purpose because they've seen how we've been handing the title to Liverpool by drawing with Leicester and beating Man City and then losing to Liverpool. And then they've gone, okay, Norwich, we see you doing that, so we're going to lose to Watford and help Watford go level with you. That's what I think happened. I think that they need to look into that because David De Gea does not usually make those mistakes. So there's my conspiracy theory for the day. I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Have a very Merry Christmas. And until the next video, which will, I don't know when it will be, probably Friday, I will see you then.